Delicious period, which is not what you thought, but a new McDonald's in Russia has prohibited its visitors from taking pictures and charging their phones. And the reasons are pretty disgusting and unsettling, but more about this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian Dude. And let's begin by looking at the most recent updates at the map of the war. And boy oh boy, today we have a very good news from Ukraine from the south. The Antonov bridge, which is located in Kherson region, has been destroyed today by the Ukrainian army. And the reason why this event is so important, it is because it is practically the only bridge in the south of Ukraine, except this bridge next to Nova Kahovka. And as you already know, the Ukrainians are pressing so hard against Nova Kahovka, which basically means that this bridge is also practically not used as much by Russian army. If we go all the way to the north along with the Dnipro river, you can basically see that there is no more bridges basically at all the way until Zaporozhie, which basically means that destroying this Antonov bridge almost completely disrupts all the reinforcements of Russians in Kherson region. In addition to that, it has been reported that in the same Kherson region, Ukrainian army was able to hit Russian fighter jet Su-35. And just when you thought that the good news stopped coming from this region, just to finalize this hat trick, Ukrainian army was also able to destroy Russian anti-aircraft defense system next to this Antonovka bridge. And while Ukrainians continue destroying military objects of Russians just continue shelling civilian cities. Specifically, it has been reported that this night Russians were shelling the city of Nikopol from Kamyanka-Dniprovska. And this attack is most likely the response of the Russian army, because if you remember yesterday, the Ukrainian forces were able to destroy a small platoon of Russians next to the Zaporozhie nuclear power plant. So what's the situation right now in the south? As you can see, the Ukrainian army is dominantly successful in this region. That is why basically the only thing left for Russians to do is to reinforce its existing positions. But nevertheless, Ukrainians are able to reach distant military objects thanks to HIMARS systems. That is why the defense of Russians is getting weaker every single day. And another thing that's left for Russia to do besides reinforcing its existing positions is to constantly shell distant civilian cities, such as for example Odessa, where once again this night Russians launched 7 Kaliber missiles, and unfortunately only one of them was intercepted. Most of these attacks in this region come from the Russian Navy in Black Sea. That is why one of the next top priorities for the Ukrainian army, according to the Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Vladimir Gavrilov, will be to destroy this Russian Navy in Black Sea. And in addition to preventing all these missile attacks against civilian cities, the destruction of this fleet will also help Ukrainians in the future liberation of Crimean Peninsula. And one of the first reactions to this statement from Russian side came from the press secretary of Russia, Dmitry Peskov, who basically said that the statements like this about the destruction of Russian fleet only confirms the fact and the purpose of Russia that they need to denazify and to demilitarize Ukraine. And before I tell you how many soldiers Russian army has potentially lost trying to capture these small cities of Lysychansk and Severodonetsk, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. Alright, so first of all, unfortunately, Russia was once again doing artillery strikes against city of Kramatorsk. The next relatively successful update about the advancements of the Russian army comes from us from this region, where it has been reported that Russians were able to advance a little bit next to this Pokrovskaya town, and the main target in this place still remains capturing the city of Bakhmut. Besides capturing Bakhmut, one of the priority cities of Russians in this region remains the city of Seversk. Because if you remember previously, the main city in this region for Russians was the city of Slavyansk. And because of this, Russia has been trying many unsuccessful advancement attempts in the past, but right now it looks like that they switched their attention from these two cities, Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, next to this city of Seversk. And all of this most likely it is because Russia possibly learned a lesson that sometimes sending as many people as possible trying to capture some cities sometimes it just costs lots of lives. And what I'm talking about here is that according to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Russia has lost approximately 11,000 soldiers trying to capture Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. And this 11,000 accounts approximately for more than 25% of total lives lost of Russia in this war. And right now, let's talk briefly about possibly the main intrigue of the day. According to the advisor of the President of Ukraine, Alexey Arestovich, most likely the counteroffensive of Ukraine will not begin in the south. He justified his statement by saying that every single person who follows this war already knows about success of Ukraine in the south. That is why if Ukraine decides to start the counteroffensive in this region, this will be very much expected. But the main thing about the war is to do unexpected things. And that is why he says that the location of counteroffensive of Ukraine in the nearest future will be a big surprise. And if you want to be among the very first people in the world to know where this counteroffensive starts, please consider checking my Discord. Because this is the place where I post news like this just when they arrive. And in addition to that, we as a community constantly donate money to Ukraine at the end of each month. So if you want to be a part of this group donation, please consider checking my Patreon. All the links can be found in the description. Welcome to another episode of Ridiculous Russian Propaganda. And today let's talk about Tasty Period, which is basically, if you don't know it yet already, is the brand new McDonald's in Russia with the very poor brand name selection whenever you translate it into English. But anyways, there are several reports that this food chains now prohibits its customers from taking pictures of the place and also charging their phones. According to them, the main reason for this prohibition is so that people do not accidentally take picture of someone else without their consent. But the main reason most certainly is not the same. In fact, it is once again pretty disgusting. As soon as Tasty Period opened in Russia, people started posting pictures like this in their social medias like Instagram, which is, by the way, prohibited in Russia. And these are the pictures of basically the burgers or any other food, and it was already moldy. In addition to that, some other people were posting pictures that there are insects in their food, such as cockroaches or even worms. But it all culminated with this video where it was showing that Tasty Period was basically storing its bread outside, and birds, pigeons and crows and sparrows started literally eating this bread. But yes, the representatives of Tasty Period, they said that they threw away all this bread. But my question is, so why people were able to find these cockroaches and worms then? So I mean, yes, Russian politicians and businesses, they always laugh about these Western companies saying that we don't need you in Russia, we can do better. And I mean, I guess, yeah, if this Tasty Period is, in your understanding, is better equivalent to McDonald's, then yes, you won, congratulations. If you stayed this long into the video, you're a true hero. So instead of eating Tasty Period, please consider becoming my channel member. Thank you so much for your attention, check the links in the description, stay safe and see you tomorrow.